big, big welcomes because he speaks in front of other audiences. So we cannot let him down tonight. We've got to give him a huge round of applause, please. So I need to scream, shouting, sit down, stamping your feet, just making so much noise so they hear it on the ground floor. So ladies and gentlemen, can you welcome Jimmy to the stage, please?
If you put a crab in here, you put a crab in there on its own, what do you think it'll do? It'll get out somehow. If you put a crab in here and it's got 10 crabs, what do you think is going to happen? The other crabs are going to drag it down. Okay? That's called the crab mentality. Who's heard of that before? Okay? Now, for me, when I first said I wanted to be a speaker all those years ago, I started speaking about 20 years ago. I joined a club. Not as good as Toastmasters, by the way, but it was a club. Everyone said, you can't, you speak, you. I was a sports person. I competed around the world. And I could compete to audiences around the world as a sports person, and I felt comfortable. But put me in front of a group to speak to 5 people like this, hiding like that, seriously. And when I first started to speak, they said, you speak, you're having a laugh. And Neil kindly said there, I do speak all over these days. I waffle on about all sorts, and that's another story another day. But what I want to say is, wow, look at that goodness me. Talk about crabs in the bucket, is the brain negativity bias. And what that means is that many years ago, before my time, probably about Jim Gregory's time at the back over there, you might remember, but just before my time, all those years ago, we had tribes, and we'd roam the earth. And these tribes, if you weren't part of a tribe, you're in danger. It's called the survival instinct. Now, we've inherited that tribe mentality now. One of our biggest fears is to be ostracized from the tribe. Because back then, you had all these animals roaming the earth. You had other tribes. And there was a fear of being ostracized. There's no danger like that now, unless you go to Blackburn, by the way. According to our speaker over there. I love Blackburn, by the way. I worked at the football club there, did some seminars there. But that's not something today. But basically, we've got no danger wherever you go, like we used to have back then. But we still are afraid of being ostracized. So we've inherited that brain negativity bias to a point. So we want to be part of the herd, so to speak. And human beings are storytelling creatures. We tell stories about ourselves and other people. And all those years ago, the stories we told were about the danger of the town. So you wouldn't go to, say, a town and you go to the beautiful English countryside and see all these wonderful things, and you'd go and talk about the danger, the tribe, the animals, because we've got survival instincts and being storytelling. And these days, we still are that way. Now, it's nearly Christmas now, and one example is, for this one here, if you went to 10 stores and 9 of them treated you beautifully, they gave you chocolate cake, they gave you a cup of coffee, they gave you a good deal. Then you go to one of them and they shortchange you. They rip you off by 5p. Who do you think you're going to go home and tell your partner or your dog or your cat or whoever you live with about? You're going to tell the one negative experience. Most people do, if we're honest about ourselves. And that's the brain negativity bias. And we've got to use our part of the brain because crabs are instinctive. We've got a prefrontal cortex. Use it. We've got a rational brain, but we don't use it often enough. And for me, it's about stepping out and standing up for your beliefs and what you want out of life. Now, if we look at the people like Mandela, Gandhi, Luther King, Rosa Parks, there's a recurring theme. They stepped out of the herd. They stood up. And at the time, they were ridiculed. But we look back at them now and admire them. Now, I'm not saying to be an activist or to be a major person in the world in that way, but you've got your own goals. And it might take stepping out of your comfort zone. Not to the point where you're in the deep end, just extend it incrementally. And extend the beliefs, because we're not born equal, by the way, and I'm aware of that. I've had my fair share of challenges. Some of us got better genetics, some people have got better parents, some people have got better social group. But the one thing that we all have that's equal is 24 hours a day. You've got 24 hours a day, I've got that. We've all got that. And we can decide to get up in the morning and do the best we can what we've got every day. We can just go out there and give it all we've got. And sometimes you will fall flat on your face, sometimes it won't go the way you want it to go, but you've just got to have some sort of faith in something, whatever it is. Because we're all unique. We're all born unique. You are 1 in 7 billion people in the world. There's only one of you. There only ever was one of you, and only will be one of you in this genetic form. So for me, it's making the most of it. And having the freedom, the courage to get out of the bucket and live your life on your terms and live your life to the best of your ability. Because if you have a goal to reduce your weight, if you've got a goal to be on TV, if you've got a goal to be a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker, if you want to wear a ring in your nose, if you want to wear a cap, if you want to wear gloves, whatever you're, be original. Everybody else is taken. And there's no danger. Don't be driven by your fears. Be led by your dreams. Okay? And it's about not being afraid to be and break away from the herd mentality, because there's nothing to be afraid of other than fear itself. And the moral of the story is, for me, as a speaker, yeah, I did eventually, and I do speak all over, and I want to encourage you new Toastmasters, that for me, it's not a vision. And one speech became 2, 3, and 5, and you're on the way. It wasn't a birthright, it wasn't anything naturally talented in. You just work at it. And the moral of the story is, what I want you to take away from today is use protection against crabs. Thank you.